be comparing the Milwaukee Bucks to the Spurs the next time, then we are not going to do that. That's what's not going to happen.
I think I know the title of this episode, Wayne. You just inspired me, bro.
What is it? What is it?
The new Spurs.
Girl, you deserve to be happy. Need a lead that man and just get with me. Now I know that may be hard for you, but it's time that you got someone new. Cause if he ain't treating you right at all, but it's your call, baby.
The Lemon Water Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, T.
And this is Jay.
And we got none other than special guest, Mr. Wayne Diesel, y'all. Give it to him.
E-S-E to the
L. Go crazy. Well,
you know what time it is.
Oh yeah, I already know, man. I already know what's up. So, how's it been hanging, man? How's it rolling?
It's good. It's rolling. It's rolling. It's rolling as good as it can be, man. I ain't gonna complain. You know, one monkey don't stop the show, so we good. We good over it.
Thanks. I'm feeling that. All right, so welcome to the show. We're gonna get it cracking. Wish we could hang out in person, but this Corona thing ain't letting us kick it the way we normally would. So
hating on us.
I know, man. They won't let us be great, man.
Oh, we gonna be great. We gonna be great.
For sure, though.
I love it.
Man, we're going to get into it then. So, this is your first time on the show. What we like to do is we kind of just have like a little back and forth discussion, but mostly today we just here to interview you, talk about, your artistry, where you are in life right now, or where you've been, and just learn more about Wayne Diesel. Like, who is Wayne Diesel? So other people can get to know you more, and then you can get to know the people more, even though they know you already because you like worldwide. So...
Y'all better stop playing this evening.
Okay, funny story. Before we get started, funny story. So, at one point in time, I used to rap, right? I tried to rap. And we did this video called Bama Flow. But then we also had, like, performances. Like, it was me, this guy named D-Weezy, and this crazy dude right here, Wayne. And so, Wayne had a performance, right? This man out there. You remember Cadillac? What was the club called?
You talking Classic Wheels?
Yes, Classic Wheels.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
This man was out there, had the whole, like, he just got out there, started dancing by himself. And then next thing you know, like 40 people out there trying to dance. Like, they can't even dance. So they out there just like trying to do something. I'm like, this guy. But they was letting it ride. So it was working. So it's, it is what it is, bro. That's the type of character that he possesses for sure. So we're going to get into it, man. So talk to us about the Corona, the Corona situation, how you understand it. It's like a Corona roundtable, if you will, like just open discussion for anybody. So what's your stance on it, man? Like, what do you think about Corona life now?
So going in, and just disclosure, I'm not one to really, I don't really get scared of too much of nothing. Yeah. And so when I first heard about it, I'm like, okay, it's fine, swine flu, Zika virus. I thought it was something that they here today, gone tomorrow, something we ain't going to. Right. So I really wasn't paying too much attention to it at first, being honest. Just like it, I'm sure, I don't know if y'all was, but I know I would. But time went on, like, okay, I still hearing about it. I hear it was doing something over there in China. Well, that's China, ain't got nothing to do with us. Right. Then it made some kind of way, found its way over here. I'm like, okay. Fine, whatever. It's all good. And then I just got to seeing where it just started making its way throughout the U.S. and everything. Yeah. And after a while, I started seeing it started now where it started messing with the sports. Like, wait a minute, now I think it might be a little more real than what I may have thought.
Right.
So, but then you know how the media can be. So I'm like, well, I think it's not at a 10, but I don't think it's at a 1. It's somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? I think a higher ground. So I just got to the point where everything was shutting down, and I feel like the reaction was worse than the actual situation.
Okay.
And I feel like they had to kind of counteract it to try to balance out. But now I feel like I'm at the point now with it where, well, I ain't gonna lie. Everything was shutting down, quarantine. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. And I don't know if it's smart to say, the right thing, responsible to say, but damn, that's how I feel. At some point, I just felt like, man, you know what? I may as well just go and get it. I'm ready for it. A lot of people ain't dying. I'll probably be all right. I'll be just going to get it. But then I realized that, that probably ain't a good move. But, I'm not really scared of it, but I ain't really stupid either. You don't.
That's how you can. Like, you just have to do the best you can.
I was cleaning up, wiping everything down away from everybody. I'm like, you know what? Corona may not be that bad, y'all. You know what I mean? So I was sitting there thinking about it, but I'm like, but now I just, you gonna wear your mask, be cool. So now I'm just like the point, just be careful, be safe. If you want to wear one, great. If you don't, cool. Whatever you do, just be careful. That's why I'm at with it now.
Stay out the way, basically.
Right.
That's about all you can do. Jay, you got anything to say?
Yeah, Wayne. I mean, I understand that too, man, because I was taking it lightly as well, and because it just seems like the news was so inconsistent on what they were reporting daily, and you couldn't really. One day it was like, oh, we don't got nothing to worry about. It's not even here. The next week, oh man, we got a first case here. It's gonna multiply, and then just multiply by the day. The next thing you know, oh, we're in an epidemic. Then it updated itself to a pandemic. So I mean, my fear, I didn't have much. Honestly, I didn't have much fear with it myself because, it is what it is. Like, all you can do is, take precautions and do what you got to do. But my stance was just like, I had no fear with it. So at the same time, now looking at it, I'm just being more, I guess you could say more in line with like trying to keep up with most people, what they're doing with the mask and things like that. Because, with me, I'm in a whole different city and state. So like the laws, and I know everywhere you go, the mandated laws are there. Some places you can't even walk in an establishment without a mask on. And then some places just like, oh, don't worry about wearing a mask. So it's just kind of like, like you said, you just got to take care of yourself because it's so inconsistent.
Okay. I had to what I'm doing in between, I'm actually hold on one second. I'm gonna pause record.
So yeah, with me living in a different state, the mask requirements are like different everywhere. So I just trying to do my part and be compliant, and because at the same time it's all about really protecting yourself, your family, and all of that. Because with us, we have these underlying conditions just like everything else. We don't feel it or see it until it's, too late. So, even with it, it may not affect, you may not feel the effects of it, but I mean, long term, the thing is kind of like, I don't know, diabetes, you don't really find out until it's too late. So you just got to take precautions.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Like now, it's just, we have to. I was like that too, though, Wayne. I was just like you, bro. Like in the beginning, I was really kind of gung ho, like I'm good, I ain't worried. Like I was going in stores without a mask and all that kind of stuff. And so my thing is, I could have been like smarter about it. But if you remember, in the beginning, everybody couldn't get the masks. Like it was like only a certain select group of people, and the elite, basically, like the rich folks. And like I talked to a guy in the store, and he was like, "You know why you weren't able to get a mask?" And I was like, "Nah." And he was like, because they wanted all the rich folks to get them first. And so now the lower mongrel race, meaning us, I guess, or middle class citizens or whatever, now we get to get them. And so you see they like in abundance. Like you can just get masks like in Target, like in the center of the store. Like it's a thing now. And then like you were saying, Wayne, like they got different colors and your favorite NBA team, or I see you repping it. We're gonna get to it. I see you repping the Knicks. I already knew. I told Jay, I was like, he's a huge Knicks fan. Oh, yeah. Like, so, but we're gonna get into it. But it's like, I totally get it though. But now, I wear my mask in every store. Any place that I'm like, even when I do my photo shoots or video or stuff like that, I wear a mask like 96% of the time. So I've conditioned myself to just breathe and talk through. It's kind of weird, but usually when the shoot concludes, and if I'm outside and we got like enough space between us, I might just take it off for a minute just to kind of catch some breaths, because it is hot in there. Like, I feel sorry for a lot of these people out here that have had a bad breath all these years, and now they getting a taste of what they've been plaguing on us all these years, but you know that's another subject. So, next question, man. So, how have you been staying productive during these times, Wayne? Like, where you at?
Well, you know, I still been working. I ain't really been quarantined too tough, not really. But when the times I ain't gonna lie, I didn't had a lot. It's been a lot going on, so I was kind of down in the funk there for about a good 2 weeks. But after a while, you know, when you down, you just realize what you gonna do about it. So I did a little, you know, working out, did some sports stuff a little bit to what I could do.
Man, I didn't know you box now. I box.
I just do it to train. I mean, I just do it to train, stay in shape. I know a homeboy that he boxed and he worked with some fighters. So I came across him, so I trained with him.
Okay.
But that's what I try to do. Picked up a little writing, you know, dusted that notebook off. I'm like, well, I just don't want to sit here and do nothing. I was trying to come out of quarantine, like try to come back, because I knew I wasn't gonna be down forever. But you know, it's kind of hard to get stuff done too, because you really can't really do nothing. There's only so much you can do. Right. So me, I just try to stay sharp, try to stay prayed up, try to stay sharp, and I kept it rolling. Got a couple things wrote.
And that's interesting that you anything from you, Jay? Because I don't even want to jump over you.
Oh no, bro, you good? No, I was just soaking that in, because as far as staying productive, like I mean, I like both of y'all kind of got me interested in like doing this whole boxing thing now, because I know T does the boxing, and I'm hearing now Wayne, you do the boxing thing. So how is it as far as like does it feel good to release that whatever's built up, and is it therapeutic for you both, or how does that go?
You got it, Wayne. Go first.
Well, tell you something. When I first, now, I don't know how long Tag been on it, but I've been on it maybe a month, and that's off and on. I don't train nowhere as often as I could, but when I first got into it, I thought I was in shape, but I found out very quickly basketball shape and boxing shape is two totally different things. And 3 minutes is a lot longer than what you realize, and a lot longer, especially when you're doing it jabbing and running around. I thought I was in shape. I learned otherwise quickly. Yes. But as far as the actual experience, what I try to do, I'm not really an angry guy. I try to be happy, but for me, I just try to dig that thing and try to find a little inner rage or why I'm doing it. And I just try to remember why I got it there to begin with. You see what I mean? And so I try to do it, try to stay in shape. And if I try to find myself mad at something or doubted or slept on, that's usually what I do. And like a lot of times I've thought about people that's made me angry. I've thought about student loans a lot.
Oh yeah. Respect.
Respect. So I think about things that kind of make me that chip, and I'm better for it. So that's what helps me get through it.
Okay, got you. With me, I've been doing it for about 3.5 years now. I just been quiet. I don't talk a lot no more. Like I used to. I was that guy that was like always trying to. It's like you always trying to please others, or you want people to look at you doing something, but then when you realize, it's on the inside and you got to work the in to out. It's just like basketball. Like to me, if you play the in to out game, your game will develop over the course of the whole, 48, however many minutes it is y'all playing. You got to work in to out. You're not just going to start doing Steph Curry stuff and pulling up three for no reason. That works for him. But to me, that's not basketball. Like that ain't what I learned. And then you see it doesn't work anymore. Like, everybody has figured out your scheme. You're just going to shoot the whole time. You're not doing nothing else. You got a little bit of handles, but it's like, and you fast. But it's like, you break your ankle or whatever it is that happened to him, and he's kind of out right now. Now you got to redevelop your game all over again. Like you got to start over. But he might come back in and do the same thing. That's just basketball. But with boxing, like you said, it's totally different shape. Jabbing and hooking and ducking and getting out, getting back in.
Keep your hands up.
Keep your hands up at all times. Or you
at all times.
Keep one on the chin Now you might be open after you throw a certain, you know what I'm saying, combination or whatever. Like you might be open, but if you moving, like you keep your head off the line basically. So whenever you hit, like I'm hitting like this, my head is off the line. So if you throw it, you come in here, I'm already, you know what I'm saying, I'm still moving. Like you constantly move. But you it's good because it shows you a way to conserve your energy and how to properly distribute it. You know what I'm saying? That's how for me, I just got into it, became more mental. At first, it was just about weight loss. When I first started boxing, I was 405 pounds. Now I'm like 315. So
what's up?
Yeah, but I changed my diet as well. So like, you know, it wasn't just the boxing. At first, you know, I went and boxed for like a day or two, and I realized quickly that I needed to change my diet in order for my boxing to get better. So it became more about the sport and advancing the skill set that was helping me, like you said, Jay, to work stuff out. Like when you hit stuff, it changes everything up here because it's constructive striking. So it's not like you just wailing and doing
it's way more mental than what they tell you.
Yeah. Like people think it's just a game, like they think it's just, you know, like which is why it's challenging working with people that don't take it as seriously as you do, or they think, oh, this is just like anything. Like people think they're gonna come in there sparring the first day. I'm like, nah. I'm like, you're not about to spar today because you don't even know how to throw a jab.
Right.
Without hurting yourself or somebody else because you doing it wrong. That's street fighting. That's Kimbo's life. That's backyard. So it's like, it works if you trying to like take care of yourself, but like if you want to develop a skill set, you know, that's how it is for me. So it's definitely mental to answer your question, Wayne, for sure. For sure. Y'all heard me? Y'all can hear me? Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right. So yeah, go ahead. You got it.
Oh no, yeah. So Wayne, man, why do you feel you were chosen to do what you do, bro? Like what like, you know, at an early age, like when did you find out that you was gonna do what you do today? Like when did you feel like you were chosen to do what you do?
Are we talking about sports talk or are we talking about music?
Artistry.
Or are we just talking about entertainment?
Yeah, artistry in general, bro.
Well, so I guess that kind of goes into my first time I was on stage in high school. And I was real shy, but quiet as kept. I'm a shy guy. I don't like to make too much. I like to try to be quiet, but people put cameras and talk to me and put me in these corners and Zoom calls. And next thing I got to get loud and obnoxious. You know what I'm saying? But so I was like that pretty much my whole life. And I got on stage, and I don't know if y'all heard this, but my first time rapping, I actually didn't know I could do it. I just wrote a song just to see if I could do it, and I found myself in the talent show. And when the curtain rose up and I seen a gym full of folks, and then the music started playing, I forgot all the words. I've been practicing all day, and I forgot I'm like, oh snap, it's people out here. I need to do something. Yeah. And just something happened. I don't know what it was. I heard a voice like, Wayne, you got it. Go out there and get them.
That's it.
And then next thing I know, the words came to me, and I was out there rapping, dancing, cutting up, acting a fool. And it dawned on me that I seen all these people smiling, and I seen them laughing and smiling and cheering and trying to do what I was doing. And it dawned on me that I really enjoy this. So I just enjoy it. I like making people happy. So if I can get you for that 3, 5, 15, 30 minutes, however long I got your attention, if I can make you forget whatever troubles you got going on, I'm good. Because there's a whole lot of trouble going on in the world. Everybody got their own set of problems, whatever they go through. But if I can take you off of that spot for that little bit of time, I'm going to do that. Because life ain't all bad, and I'm here to remind you of that. You see what I mean? So whether I'm sitting there talking about sports, talking and hollering and cutting up, or talking bad about some team or something, you know, whether you agree or not, guess what? You've forgotten about the problems you got, music or not. You might, if you can relate to it, more power to you. Or if you want to dance, you know, Tank, you know, that's what I do. I'm all about getting out there, cutting the rug. So I'm gonna make you forget. I'm gonna make you forget about whatever problems you had. They left at the door. We're gonna have fun together.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what it is to me. It's more about the people entertaining, because I get joy out of seeing those people smile.
Yeah. What does a 3-letter word like joy mean to you?
Joy, what it means to me, joy is, it comes from within. I don't think anybody can give you that. I think people can kind of inspire it. And I think joy can make you, joy, it comes with it. It's like a real peace within. So like, say you get to a spot in life you've been wanting, like say you've been wanting to buy a house or get a girl, get married, get a car, whatever it is you want to do, and you find yourself at that spot, you sit back and like, man, I did it. Yeah. And that's really joy in setting that out. So I think to me it's a sense of accomplishment and peace.
So peace and accomplishment, those two words kind of tie me into the next question. Are we going to get into father talk a little bit? Not too much, just a little dab. Because, I mean, both of you guys are fathers. I'm not yet. But, you know, eventually I will be. What does being a father mean to you, Wayne? And I'm going to ask you the same question, Jay. Okay. But, I mean.
To me, I ain't even gonna lie, it's easily probably about one of the best things I've ever done. It's the stressful, happiest, joyfulest, angriest things that you'll probably ever do. But I wouldn't trade it for nothing. And really, when I first held my little girl, the first thing that came to mind, and she grabbed my finger, the first thing I told myself, like, well, Wayne, hey, you got to tighten up. You got to, and I wasn't off track too far, but it made you want to get yourself together because it's not just you in the game anymore. Right. You see what I mean? Because at some point, she gonna look to you, she gonna come, or she, you know, they gonna come to you, and you gonna realize that somebody's counting on you. So whatever you got to do, you can't be as impulsive. You can't be as irresponsible. You got to think about that other person and how it's gonna affect them, and what kind of person do you want to be? Like, what kind of lessons are you gonna instill in that kid? So you have to come up. You got to. Yeah. And for me, so it's I love it. Like I said, it's the best and one of the most stressful things that I've ever done, but I wouldn't change it for nothing.
Love it. I love it. What about you, Jay?
Likewise, man. It's one of the best things in the world. That it's an honor and a privilege. You know, it's like you said, Wayne, when you hold your little one for the very first time, everything changes because it's not just about you anymore. You know, like with me, I was reckless prior to having my first kid. I was just out there, you know, I didn't care, you know, because I felt I was young and I was resilient and, you know, and all of that. But when I had my first child, everything changed. And it's like, it's scary too, because it's just like, man, all right, so now you have a whole little human being that's going to depend on you to, you know, get their way through life, you know, especially in their early years with them being kids and stuff, which is one of the most fragile times in their life, because that's when they're developing and learning what's going on in the world. And even if they don't understand what's going on in the world, like, you know, with my kids, you know, my oldest kid, she understands what's going on. She knows that there's a pandemic. Well, my middle son, he knows, he sees it, he hears about it, but I don't think he quite understand the concept of actually what's going on. So it's just one of those things where it's a privilege. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's stressful. It's very stressful at times, but it's also rewarding too. And there's nothing better than seeing your kids happy and knowing that they're taken care of. And even if you're putting yourself on a back burner, still you feel like your mission is accomplished when you knowing that you come home, you see smiles on their faces and they're genuinely happy. So that's just something that I treasure, and I look forward to seeing more moments in their lives like that.
Wow, that's beautiful, guys. That's very, very touching. So we talking about kids in our younger set, like younger versions of future versions of who they will become to be. At one point in time, we were all kids. So that, which kind of prefaces the next question. Wayne, at the age you are now, you know, what advice would you give your younger self?
What What age are we talking about?
Anywhere, I guess, like just a younger version of yourself. So like, we'll say like, I don't know, 10 and below.
10 and below. Oh, Lord.
High school. Well, no, we don't have to say 10 and below. We'll say like I'm 31. We're in our 30s now. So
yeah, I'm 31. So I'm 31 also.
So a younger. Oh yeah, we all 31. 31. So younger versions of ourselves. Let's just say like 20, between 20 and 15. What advice would you give yourself in that frame? Because you know how we're still being developed.
Yeah.
You know, and trying to find ourselves and figure it out. You never stop trying to find yourself, first off. But yeah, you know, in that age, it's like integral. I mean, it's imperative that you have like something that you're doing. Like with you was rap, and I guess like sports or something else that you were doing. I can't remember. I don't really know exactly what you were doing when you were coming up in high school. But
high school, I wasn't doing nothing for real. I was just music, and that was like at the end of high school. I ain't started rapping for real till I was like 17.
Respect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I would tell myself, especially in them 20s, because that's when I really kind of
go with that.
That's when I started feeling myself. I would say stay focused and invest in yourself. Because what I would do, and Tag, you knew how I was. I was out there, I would rap, I would go out there and I would try to party, and I would do things. And I would do a show, but I would get out there and I'm gonna go chill. I'm gonna let it sit on that for a little bit. Or I would, or what I would do, when I was getting money, because I was selling CDs and I was DJing too. And so what I would do, what I could have been doing with equipment and building like a brand or an empire, what was Wayne doing? Just buying jerseys or fast food or something. So what I should have been doing, investing in myself long term and staying focused. And I didn't always have that focus. Like when I had it. But when I would achieve the goal, I'd just go on and chill. I wish I would have focused more on the what next. Like, okay, Wayne, you gonna make that song, then what? You know what I mean? Or you gonna put this album out, this mixtape out, okay, then what? You gonna book that show, then what? You know what I mean? I didn't focus on the then what as much as I should have. And so when I would achieve a goal, I would just sit there and chill. Just until the next thing, or I'd wait for something to come to me when I could have went to it or created it. So I would think I was sitting there waiting for the perfect opportunity when I could have just been investing in myself and not focused on the then what and the bigger picture.
Yeah, I feel it, bro. I feel it totally. I think for myself, if it was me, I would tell me to slow down. Because in my 20s, 20s is good. Let's go with the 20s because nobody really remembers being 15 for real. I kind of remember it, but it was like, But I'll remember, okay, if I was 15, I was in the band. I was in the band all throughout high school. I played a little bit of football. I tried to come back, and it wasn't for me. God was like, nah, sit down, bro. Just stop. So I did. But my 20s, I would tell myself to slow down, smell the roses, don't be in such a rush to get to, like you said, the next thing. For me, that was like a negative connotation because I was like always thinking that the next level was going to be better than this because I was tired of where I was. But what I was doing, I was gassing myself. Like I was burning out all the time on everything. And it was just like impossible for me to enjoy stuff. And a lot of people don't know, I had dealt with like depression a little bit for a little while. But I think most people do in some shape or form. It's just people just choose not to address it and it makes it worse for yourself, for the people around you, especially like those closest to you. And so facing up with that and realizing that, and now being 31, it's a lot more clear. But the blessing is that I'm 31 and I'm not like 61 and just realizing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, and really, what I've learned, I thought that when I hit when I was about, because I just turned 31 this past. Your birthday in May? Ain't your birthday in May somewhere?
Yeah, May 6th.
May what?
6th.
6th. And mine's May 10th.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So we right there together. But I realized as you get older, like, I feel like the 30s is really where you really start churning the butter. Like y'all, we all been through the struggle. You done went through. Yeah, everybody in here that boiled some noodles. You know how you boil your noodles? You don't put it in there. You don't put the noodles right there, right in the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta let that water heat up. You gotta let it boil. You gotta let it sizzle. You gotta let it marinate. You got to let it get hot, piping hot. And I think that sizzle when it's warming up, I think that's your teens and your 20s. But when that water get hot, that's when you can drop the noodles in there. That's when you got to stir it. That's when you start cooking. I think that sizzling point is in your 30s because you go through everything that you went through in your teens and your 20s. And then the 30s, that's when you really start putting it together. You see what I mean? Because nobody got the answers. I mean, unless you just kind of, everybody got their own different paths. But by and large, it really don't really start hitting until you're about 29. Actually, if you start getting kids, if you get kids sooner, it hit then because it makes you grow up in a way faster than what you may have tried to. Because if you got a kid at a young age, if you're responsible, it fast track. See, I didn't have my little girls. I was I guess 29. That's why. That's when it really started happening to me, being responsible growing up. So I think your home life, whatever home life situation you got going on, fast tracks you because you want to do better to upgrade that home life. So if you got kids, how can I make a better life for them? You got a person in your life, how you want to make a better life for them? Or sometimes you just want to do it for yourself. But first, you got to let that water boil first. You got to let it boil first. So I think you got to go through something before you really start putting it together. So these life lessons, I don't think you're supposed to know that. So going back on it, you asked me if I would, now that I'm sitting there thinking about it, now that I'm sitting there percolating, now that I got my water boiling, I don't think I would tell my teenage self anything. Because if I told myself that I'm not going to go through the same experiences, that I'm not going to have that same struggle. So I don't think I'm going to tell them shit.
Big.
That's real.
Big. Okay.
So I can tell you not to put your hand on the stove, but until you touch your hand on the stove and burn it, it is hot. That's why you said.
So it's like an interesting story about that. So, long time ago, I still go to church when I'm a drummer, so I'm in church, but it's like go to church. You don't have like a role. Ain't like a transformer over there. One of y'all, it sound like
the Autobots rolling out, big dog.
Yeah, bro, it was like the Borgs, they're here. But I was like, a long time ago, this dude told a story, and Mr. Doug, I will never forget his name. Mr. Doug told this story, and we used to have this thing in church where it was like kids church or something, but it was like all the kids would come to the altar, right? And some man or woman or like people we looked up to in the church would like tell a story about the Bible or something like that. This one was cool because it was the Bible, but he made it more modern for that time. What I thought was modern, because it stuck because I'm 31 and I remember this story. So it was a son, I don't remember the names, but it was a son and a daughter. A son and his dad. And his dad gifted the son this beautiful piece of wood, right? Like beautiful piece of wood. And like redwood, oak or something like that. It was smoothed over. He had sanded down and everything. And so the son, one day, of course, like kids do, they ended up disobeying his parents. One, like told him not to do something and he did it. And so what he did was he took the wood and then he made him watch him nail a nail in it. So for every time he nailed the nail, it was the time like, I was like, oh, you're not listening? Nailing the nail. It was tearing the boy up. So then when the boy corrected his actions, he took the nail, he would take a nail out and take a nail out and take a nail out. So it got to the point to where he got all the nails removed, but the marks were still there in the wood because you got to remember what you did wrong so you don't do it again. Like, it's still a beautiful piece of wood, it's perspective, but it was just that you have to learn, what not to do. You got to do it, but I'm not saying you will have to purposely, punch somebody in the face, like nothing crazy, but just something that you just not supposed to do, but you learn it by, doing it on accident or something like that. So, yeah.
Can't be scared to make mistakes in life.
Can't.
That's how you learn. I mean, if you don't make mistakes, there's no growth. I mean, that's honestly. And going back to what you were saying, Wayne, about like your 20s and stuff, that's when you starting to sizzle. That's when everything is starting to, you starting to like test the waters and whatnot. And then once it starts to boil, and when we hit that 30 mark, like we both, like all of us have actually, this when you start figuring out stuff. That's when I started figuring out a lot about myself. I started learning more about myself. And because being in my 20s my 20s version of myself is much more different than my 30s version, even though I've only been in my 30s for 1 year, so it's just that that's when you really start to figure out things, and making mistakes is a part of it, and regardless of what people on social media try to make it seem like the people that always like, I don't know, like putting on for social media, like everything is great. They have life figured out at 25. They got this and that going on. They used to like get me. I'm like, man, what the hell did I do wrong? Like, what the hell? So then I started thinking like, okay, people out of 100%, people are probably sharing 10% of their life on social media. Whether it's fabricated or whether it's the honest truth. So honestly, I had to learn. That's something I had to learn once I got to my 30s, that I won't have life figured out. I'm still learning, because you still at this is the prime years for us, regardless of what they say about 20s. 30s is the prime year. So that's my opinion about that.
30s is really where it's at. I think watching sports, I learned that, when they talk about somebody 30, in the 30, he getting old, you know what I mean? Because they get drafted at 18, 19, 20s. And then when that time they get to 30, so you just train yourself, man, 30, it's over with. I'm out the game. But, I think
no, and see that's unfortunate. They train people based off of numbers. Like, I don't know how they just assume that people are more mature because they are a certain age. Absolutely incorrect. I know plenty of 61-year-olds that do not have their stuff together. And I didn't realize that I had my stuff more together. I didn't realize it until I started getting frustrated with them on their thought process with with the decision making that they would do, and then it got to the point to where they were looking up to me to help them make certain decisions, and I was like, yo, but it's not that I felt that they were completely inadequate. It was just like some people just choose to make the same choice. They choose insanity. Like they just think, well, I'm gonna just keep hitting my head against the wall, and then one day I'm gonna have $1 million. It's like, no, not unless you're a wrestler, because I mean they get paid to do that. But no, it's not gonna happen that way. Like you gotta put the work in somewhere. You gotta put the work in, and then you got like when you were a child, you did childlike things, and then when you become a man, you do manlike things. So man, it's in every book, probably it's in the Bible and all that. So that's what I got on that.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. But you mentioned sports. It's that time. I got some questions, man. I'm about to ask. How long you been a Knicks fan, man?
Honestly, in full disclosure, I started following him when Melo got there.
Okay.
Because Melo was my favorite player growing up. Now that wasn't my team for then, because I actually used to like the Magic first, because I like Tracy, so I was rolling with them for the longest.
Oh, okay.
So I stuck with them. But then when Melo came on the scene, I liked Melo, I like Melo more than LeBron, and I really did. I still do. I like LeBron. I'm not no LeBron hater, but I was always a Melo guy. And so when he went to the Knicks, I just kind of got to following him, and they were always on TV, and the Magic really wasn't on TV, like not compared to the Knicks, because it's the Knicks, and they were good at the time. And so I just kind of started watching them, and as deeper as I went on, I seen them always trying to get big people. Didn't work. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. And I just kind of got to seeing, that's when the 30 for 30s really started blowing up. And I seen a couple Knicks ones, and I was like, man, that's a squad right there. And I was looking at the Magic, and I'm like, the Magic, they always giving their folks away. They gave Shaq, gone. Tracy, gone. Dwight Howard, gone. You know, Victor Oladipo, gone.
People
you know, I always get rid of us. And then I wasn't really watching them. And it got to a point where I wasn't watching Magic games. And I didn't realize it because I was always, I try to hurry up and see Carmelo and Amari. I want to see it.
Yeah.
And I just found myself rooting for the Knicks. That was when started watching them. I mean, started watching them when Melo got there. But officially, after that, shoot, I don't know. Not too much longer after that. I can't remember, honestly.
I mean, I feel like that's a valid reason. Like a lot of people only like the Bulls because of Jordan. But I mean, that one's kind of like some big decision. I mean, you know, so my thing is were you a Bulls fan when it was just Jordan and the rest of the cast? But I always want to know. So this wasn't one of the questions, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So what do you think about how people used to make the comparison of LeBron leaving and going to, they had to be like 31 and 42 or whatever, something like that, the year that he left when he lost to the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals to Miami versus KD leaving immediately after losing to the team that beat him and going to them. What do you think about that comparison when they say, well, LeBron did the same thing? I disagree. I'm just like, well, you got to look. That was like a 72-win team that he went to. They ain't even need him, but they were able to get him because of the way the rules work and, you know, the money was there and they could make it happen. But what do you think about that whole, I guess?
Well, number one, I don't knock either one. I didn't knock Bron. I didn't knock KD. But number two, they're totally different. They're totally different scenarios. Now, Bron couldn't get past Boston, just like KD couldn't get past Golden State. Now, if it was the same move, the same thing would be like Bron leaving, and instead of going to Miami, he goes to Boston. That's the same thing. Because it ain't like he joined Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce. You know, he went to fight against them. Whereas KD, he lost to the Warriors, and then one season later, there he is out there in the Bay Area. So they're two totally different things. LeBron formed a super team to beat his opposition. KD just joined the opposition. If you can't beat them, join them. That's exactly what Kevin Durant. Now, I don't knock him for it because there's always been super teams in the league. It's always been, you know, player mobility is not really a bad thing. It's almost like, and I don't knock it because say if you got a job, say you had a job right now and you don't like it. Chances are you're not gonna be there long, and when you find something better, you're gonna move around. You know what I mean? Same thing with me. If I'm at a job I don't like, I know I'm gonna be there as long as till something better come along and I'm out the way. And KD, for various reasons, didn't like Oklahoma City. He went on and got him another job. LeBron, he didn't like things out there in Ohio. He went and got him another job. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So, I mean, if we can move, like if you don't like living in Huntsville, you're going to move to Atlanta or, you know, wherever you want to go. So I feel like that's why I don't knock players, regardless of who move, who leave, and then, well, both of them are free agents. So I don't really knock it. And I get it, but they're two totally different things. Totally different.
What you got, Jay?
I don't knock either one either. I'm a fan of KD. I'm a fan of LeBron. I like number one, I'm a Miami Heat fan, so LeBron, I never slandered him. He brought us 2 more championships than we already had. And, you know, whatever reason he felt that he had to dip that fourth year to go back to Cleveland, you know, that was, you know, it is what it is. But I didn't bash him or burn their jerseys like, you know, Cleveland did. And I think they did that the second time too when he left. So in a not so dramatic fashion, but I don't knock either one. I mean, a lot of the problem I had with the whole KD bashing thing, you know, I could respect that, you know, like you said, Wayne, you know, beating them versus joining them is 2 different things. But let's not act like KD's not an all-star. KD's not one of the best players to ever, you know, dribbled on the court. He didn't, you know, granted he did join that Warriors team, but he didn't ride their coattails. He like earned that championship ring.
They would not have beat the Cavs without him.
I agree.
They would have beat the Cavs without him.
So it wasn't like he was just joining and he just like, the old saying, you do a group project, a science project, and you just join on to get that A. He put in that work, and he did it 2 consecutive seasons and everyone saw it. So I just don't get into the point to where like people talk about you can have a personal opinion on like him going to a team or a stat team, but you cannot, discount his skills. And I know a lot of people are probably still going to try to write him off with this Achilles injury, but I think he's still going to be who he is. He may not be the same, like, 7-footer that's going to attack the rim at like the speed that he was doing it, but shooters don't forget to shoot, and it doesn't matter. So I just feel that people should, you have your personal opinions about him joining that Warriors team, but please don't disrespect the player that he is, because he is easily one of the best players in today's game, hands down.
Do y'all feel like KD is going to make a difference in Brooklyn?
I do too. In Brooklyn,
I'm asking, do you feel like he is?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. Yes, I do. Because we're looking at an interesting time in the NBA right now. Everyone was pretty much like a couple of years ago, it was the West and everybody else. But now you're starting to see those powers shift, or at least even out. And I think if Kyrie still be the player that he is, and I know this saying a lot because he's very injury prone, I think they could make some noise. I mean, you got a lot of teams that they're playing against right now in the East are kind of like, the babies are starting to get older. The Celtics are starting to get better. I really haven't really bought into the Sixers. I'm not really a Ben Simmons guy. I mean, I don't know. To me, we can have that. That could be a separate discussion. I'm not really a fan of his, but you have them, and you have the Bucks. The Bucks are kind of like today's Spurs. They're not really appealing.
The Bucks is today's Spurs. Oh hell no!
That's what they're becoming. That's what they're becoming to me.
Where's Greg Popovich? Oh no, I was trying to be cool. I was trying to be quiet. Y'all, somebody trying to praise these Brooklyn Nets. I got thoughts on the Nets. I was trying to be quiet, but what we're not gonna do, not this. I know I'm a special guest, and I apologize.
Go crazy.
But we is not gonna compare the Spurs to the Milwaukee Bucks. Not when they getting put out the playoffs every year. Not when they ain't got the history. They ain't got the track record. They ain't got the coaching. Ain't even got the skill set. What Paul Pierce, Tim Duncan was a cornerstone. What we talking about with Giannis, we don't even know if he gonna stay in Milwaukee. We don't even know. They're talking about he might
go somewhere else. Yeah,
never heard about Tim Duncan until after the fact. He might go to Orlando, but it was quiet and hush, kept. He stayed put. You knew he was gonna stay there. Tony, you knew he was gonna stay there. We don't know what this Milwaukee Bucks team gonna do. We ain't comparing Mike Budenholzer to the great Greg Popovich. We ain't talking about the stability there. Ain't nobody talking. Some people talking about the Milwaukee Bucks coming out of there, but ain't nobody really serious about it. Not really. We ain't talking about them as no threat to win no championship. They not finna beat Houston. They not finna beat the Lakers. They not finna beat the Clippers. Damn it, I don't think they beating Boston. They not getting out the Eastern Conference. And so we gonna sit there and compare a team like the Milwaukee Bucks to the San Antonio Spurs that was a dynasty. When have we ever talked about Milwaukee even turning into a dynasty? It's not gonna turn it. It's all y'all remember that song in Vogue? Never gonna get it. That's Milwaukee right there. That's them. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I didn't say that they were 5 championship dynasty Spurs. I said they are becoming what the Spurs are current. The Spurs, because literally, I mean, you can say what you want with the Spurs, but nobody went checking for the Spurs. Nobody is not like, when you think of the Spurs, even when they was in their heyday, they were like the team that you knew they was gonna be there, but nobody was checking for them. Even to their most recent, I guess, last championship that they had against the Heat. They were, they got the job done. They weren't flashy. They were a cohesive team. That's where I was getting at with Milwaukee being more like they're using it. They're trying to use their Spurs blueprint. Now, I don't give a damn what Milwaukee do. I don't have a dog in that fight. I probably can count on how many hands or fingers that I've even seen a Milwaukee game. Giannis, who knows? I don't know what his plan is. I mean, it just really depends on what he's looking for. If he's looking for dollars, then he's gone. But if he's looking to join a super team, he's likely gone. But if he's there to like build his own legacy and everything, he might stay. I don't know. I don't know much about him. I don't know where his head is because he's not really out like that with like the LeBron and the LeBrons and the KDs of the world that's kind of outspoken. He's just kind of like to what I can see, he's like to himself. So I don't know. I didn't mean to get disrespectful with the Spurs though, Mr. Knickerbocker.
My bad. I didn't mean to. I ain't mean to get all fired up like that. I didn't know.
It was good. Though.
I love it.
It was nice. It was passionate. I like that.
I love it.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but it just like that sometimes. That's
bro. That's what it's
but we're not going to talk about if the Knicks going to ever win another championship. What was it, 1973? So we're not going. We can get in that bag. We can get in that bag if you want to. I mean, the last time Patrick Ewing with Allen Houston, and they still couldn't do it. They still found a way to fuck that up without Jordan being there. So, hey, they still seeing Reggie Miller right now. They still seeing Reggie Miller.
Oh.
They still having dreams. Patrick Ewing probably waking up every day thinking about Reggie Miller and Michael Jordan. He still can't even get over that Georgetown loss back in the day with UNC.
Ooh, he took it back. Okay.
Okay. That's cute, right? You did there. I thought I heard some feedback going on. I thought I heard some feedback on Jay's. A whole lot of hate going on over there. But what we're gonna talk about? We talking about he's talking about that '99 team. It ain't no salt. Do you know who they beat in the first round?
That '99 team. Who you talking about? Which team were we talking about? The Knicks or the
Knicks? When we're talking about the guys in the finals. That Wonder Dog team with Allen Houston.
Didn't they beat the Pacers?
No, they beat the Miami Heat. Who they beat?
I'm about to say it's the Heat, Jay.
I'm gonna be honest, bro.
The number one seed Heat at that. The number one seed Heat.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. My Heat days are cloudy prior to Dwayne Wade. Going back, just to let you know, Dwayne Wade is my all-time favorite player. He's my favorite player. So I honestly didn't start watching the Heat. I honestly didn't understand really watching sports until till about 2003. That's what NBA goes. I knew about the Jordan years, but I didn't have a passion for it like I did. So that's actually news to me. Like I know the Tim Hardaway years and all of that, but prior to Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat days are cloudy. So that's good info on that.
Well, they was dominated by the Knicks, so it's all good. We ain't gonna win. I'll fast forward you there. And we would have beat the Spurs. Patrick Ewing was hurt in that finals. He was hurt. He got hurt in the Eastern Finals, and we beat the Pacers in the Eastern Finals. We won, yeah. And we beat the Pacers way more than we lost. Everybody talking about the little rim out by Patrick Ewing. It happened one time. They look at the history. We dominated them all through the 90s. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah, let's say in the first round of the playoffs, the Knicks defeated the top-seeded Miami Heat in 5 games. One of the 5 games on one of the biggest shots in Knicks history by Allen Houston. Y'all remember him. And the 4th-seeded Atlanta Hawks in the second round sweep as Camby, who had struggled through most of the regular season, and ended up emerging as a powerhouse.
Right. Right.
So, y'all definitely have a rich history. You can't take that part away for sure like that. But my question is, okay, so here, one of my when I'm speaking over my life, at some point in time, I'll probably will become a franchise owner. I just feel like I have a good knack for that because I like working with people and I like developing talent. Being a boxing trainer, working with people every day, you like to see people, move up the ladder. What do you feel, Wayne, is a necessary need to happen for the front office to get it together to rebuild what you remember as, the Knicks dynasty?
Well, I don't know if you know, but the Knicks actually just got a front office, a new front office. office, and I like this front office like a lot. They got a guy. Y'all ever heard of Steve Stout?
Vaguely.
Yeah, he's part of the rebranding thing. He's a big music mogul, so he's part of the rebranding.
So we got another Mark Cuban, but without the Mark Cuban, don't do music, but he's like a Shark Tank kind of guy.
Right.
Okay.
And now we got a guy. There's a guy. Look, the key factors in his office who I like is Worldwide West and Leon Rose. One's the vice president, the other's the executive president. Now these names is very important. Very important. Why? Because Leon Rose he used to be a former agent. He's managed people like the Devin Bookers, the Amari Caspies, the Chris Pauls, the Carmelo Anthonys, the Joel Embiids, the Victor. It's a who's who of who he's messed with. Same thing with Worldwide West. I actually heard the name Worldwide. I had never heard of West before. He started getting affiliated with New York, and I was listening to a rap song about a month ago, and I heard he dropped the name West. I said, "What? I Drake know West?" I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's what's up." But the connections that these two got, I think that's gonna really turn some corners. But we need stability. We need stability. So it's the thing with the Knicks. If we're gonna keep them there, keep them there. Let them do their thing. Rolling a different starting five out there every year, firing these coaches in mid-season, you ain't gonna grow like that.
I was waiting on it because I was waiting on you to get into the psyche of how basketball, any sport, but since we talking about basketball, basketball is a highly mentally driven sport because it works on all facets. Like I tell people, I was like, the reason why, I felt like, okay, let's just say with Cleveland and LeBron and in his earlier years, he took a bum-ass Cavs team to the finals. But I was like, that was my boy. I was rolling with him. I'm like, we're going to win. I just felt like we was going to win. After watching the first game of the fundamentals of the Spurs just kind of picked them apart, I was like, it don't look good. It just don't look good now. They're like, dang, you ain't got no faith. It's like, I got faith, but it's faith, and then it's just stupid. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm not that dumb. But I didn't see us getting swept. I didn't see that part. I was like, no, I don't think we're going to get swept. Got swept. I was like, okay. But it was just the level of play. And then when you think about the psyche, you know what I'm saying? Popovich gets into the mind of all his players. And he also showcases that he actually gives a damn about them. Like, he stands up for, he's like an activist kind of, sort of. But he actually says what he feels, and people don't challenge him on it because he stands on what he says. And so that alone, being a man like that, and then being in a leadership position like that, and in the way he handles everything, it flows down. You know what I'm saying? It trickles down. And so each player, kind of passes to each other. I think at this point, we just in a different generation of players. With talking about just the Spurs, I think it's just kind of like youth, because the NBA used to be a men's league. Now it's like a boys' league of boys that got hella money, and they acting like rap stars. Like, no disrespect. I ain't saying, you know what I'm saying? You got some artists that just kind of don't get it. Like, you got some artists that kind of get left. They like the C-list rappers like Tyga. Yeah, I said it. So, because he like the cousin that people bring on the trip. And it's like, yeah, it's my cousin Tiger. He gonna come with us, but let him do something tonight. Like, that's how I feel about that though. But I feel like if they got into the psyche, the minds of the players, like questions like, do you guys even like each other? Stuff like that. How do you feel about yourself as an NBA player? Do you feel like this is what you were born to do for this point in time in your life? Like, asking questions like, I know teams probably have therapists and stuff like that, but they need to start making that like a mandate for each player to get into the minds and then to help them find themselves so they can be that best LeBron James or that best Nerlens Noel or that best Marcus Camby, anybody. He ain't playing no more, but still. And then back then, I just feel like people had more of a pride about themselves. Like in the 90s, it was like that last batch of like real men that hooped. That's what they did. But they were professionals. then it kind of like changed, you know, your generation changed, stuff like that, though.
Yeah, I mean, with the Knicks and stuff in general, like you said, I don't think they know how to speak to these kids. You know, it's one thing it's one thing to draft them, which they do. They typically have a lottery pick every year. But the thing is, like, they recycle these rosters, man, and like they depend on like the free agent. They depend on drawing like a big time free agent. And they usually strike out because, you know, they rely on them being in the Knicks, them being, you know, in Madison Square Garden. These kids don't give a damn about that. We talking about Allen Houston and Patrick Ewing. These kids probably have no idea who Allen Houston is and what he did and
they won't.
The greatness that he brought. You know, they probably got snippets of Patrick Ewing watching The Last Dance, you know, a couple of months ago. But other than that, those are unheard of players of this generation. So the history with them don't hit the same. And they're looking at they're looking at the roster moves and stuff, and they're like, okay, are these owners are actually going to be invested in me? Or are they going to?
Well,
yeah.
You'd be surprised actually, because the guy we got this year, RJ Barrett, he said he always wanted to be a Knick, and later on after he got drafted, he posted a picture like him, like he had to be like he's about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9. He had a little Knicks hat on. And that's RJ. And RJ, what, 19, 18, 19, 20, he's something like that. And Steph Curry said he actually wanted to get drafted. Zion wanted to get drafted to the Knicks. Kemba Walker came out and said he wanted to go to the Knicks. Now, I don't know if this is hearsay or hearsay or the meetings ain't going right or what. But I'm like, it shows a whole lot of people saying they want to be in New York that ain't in New York. So something going on. Somebody lying to me. Or these meetings ain't going right. I don't know what it is, but Phil Jackson was there a lot, and Phil Jackson set us back about 6-7 years. He gone.
Yeah, he was there.
I thought that was weird that he would set y'all back, because to me he was like a basketball mastermind. But after watching The Last Dance and like how him and the owner for what's his name, Jay? I'm losing it.
Jay Rondor.
Yeah, how they passion. And I was like, And then like looking at him, but the thing is, it was just like they were two chiefs, basically. That's the only thing I could come up with. So I thought that y'all's stuff was gonna get better because Phil was there. But like you said, Jay, it's like a generational thing. Like I think like everybody's time runs out at some point with certain, like, how are they speaking to these kids type stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I mean it's funny though that like you said, Wayne, you hear all these people want to be there, you know, with the Knicks and whatnot. But it's funny, the one thing that you always hear from a player, they always say the Madison Square Garden is their favorite place to play as the opposing team. I don't know what it is about Madison Square Garden, but like I know Jordan, he dropped big numbers in there every time he played. We all know about the Kobe dropping 81. I think that was against Toronto. My bad.
That was in Toronto.
That was in LA when he did that.
But he did. But I think the Knicks game came in that period of time. Yeah. And then I think LeBron came in and dropped 60 after him. You know, so it's just funny that, like, you know, it seems to be everyone's favorite place to play as far as like being an opposing team. But it's just like, man, will we ever see like a big? Because, you know, Melo was pretty much the last big superstar that we seen go there during free agency. I mean, you can kind of say Stoudemire, but I think, you know, Stoudemire was pretty much on his last legs at that point. Like he gave whatever he had left in the tank, he used it all within that first year that he was there. So I don't remember much about Amari after that first year. So yeah, with the Knicks rather. So
since we talking basketball pretty heavy, we done got all the way into it. Wayne, what you think about these bubble games, man? Have you checked out any of them? You know, what are your?
I love them. I've been watching all of them. I was watching one. I've been watching one when I watch whenever I can. They feel like playoff games. I've been watching them. I love them.
Okay. But
it was a nice change up from sitting here watching Family Matters and the Golden Girls on Hulu all the time. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy sports is back.
Okay, yeah, that answered one of the other questions, like what you thought about sports being back and stuff like that. Oh, So here's the other thing. You mentioned the Orlando Magic at one point in time. So they're Mr. Isaac, Jonathan Isaac, decided not to kneel, and people giving him a lot of flack about blowing his knee out because he didn't kneel. What are your thoughts on that, man? Like, do you feel like it was coincidence? Do you feel like it was direct karma? Like, do you think there's any irony in the injury?
It's ironic, but I didn't. As soon as I seen it one of my contacts at the Sports Wave. They had it, and it got brought to my attention. I was like, okay. The first thing I thought about, I'm like, man, they about to tear this little boy up. They about to tear him up. Now, me personally, I didn't feel no kind of way because I knew. I feel like I applaud him more for standing than I do kneeling because. If he's kneeling and he don't do what?
I felt the same way. I'm about to say, go ahead. My bad.
Because I feel like if you kneeling just for the sake of kneeling, then are you really with it? Or are you just sitting there just doing, everybody else, so let me go and get on down here. But the fact he stood up and probably knowing what was getting ready to happen, he stood up like I feel like, because I don't know if you heard his reasoning, but he's actually an ordained minister outside of basketball.
Yep.
So he's like really religious. And he feels like the only person that he should really be kneeling for is before God.
And I totally respect it. Like, I mean, see, my thing is, I understand, like my wife has to tell me about like Black Lives Matter stuff. And I understand, I'm a black man. I've experienced police brutality. We probably all have experienced it in some way, shape, or form, no matter how cool we are. To a lot of them, we just look like targets and threats. But there's that. So coming back to him, I saw what he responded and said, he's like, I feel like kneeling is a great cause. He's like, but he didn't say, look at how long it's been going on. It was something like to the effect of that we're gonna have to do more than kneeling to change Black lives. And I was like, totally correct. Like, I didn't have an issue with that, but people on like Twitter and Facebook and everybody, giving their little 2 cents. And they went ham on him saying that, well, that's what you get. That's what you get. And I'm just like,
yeah, I thought that was kind of distasteful.
That's trash. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, I mean, it's kind of like, it's totally different subject. Like moments when people can be trash. Like when KD like tore his Achilles in the last game, the reason why he's out, and then people were like cheering because he was out.
Right.
Now, they saying that they weren't cheering. They saying that they were applauding something else that happened right before that because it was carrying over into it. But I think it was pretty obvious that they just didn't want him in the game. That was another thing. But, I mean, he didn't need to play. It's obvious that he didn't need to play. He was compensating for a lot of stuff that night. But that's neither here nor there. But so okay.
I did find it interesting that after the whole Jonathan Isaac thing, the next day, his jersey was number 2 in sales behind LeBron. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, I didn't even go that deep. Wow.
Yeah, his jersey skyrocketed. He was number 2 behind LeBron.
Okay.
I don't know how long it lasted, but I know it was there for at least a day.
Wow.
My whole thing though, like, people, I didn't really get why the hate that he got for opting to stand and not kneel, because he's doing what we've been arguing about, like us having that opportunity to kneel. We have that right to do that. So he was just using his opportunity to do what he felt like, whatever that was personal, and I had nothing to do but respect that. Because he knew, like you say, he knew that once he made that decision, because number one, I think they've kind of like blown the whole national anthem out of proportion, because if you notice, national anthems don't usually get played, they're usually not televised. Prior
the only
to
time they do it, like maybe the NBA finals or something.
Yeah. Championship games.
If you look at the like the bylaws and stuff like that, they're not supposed to be played at sporting events and shit like that. It's not even supposed to go down.
Wow. So that's that. So, and I thought that was cool, because when they started, I saw the unity. I saw what they were doing with the unity. That was cool and one thing, but I thought after the first set of games, that was gonna be it. But now it seems to be like they're kind of like forcing it now. Like they're doing everything they can to like air the national anthem. And like you said, Wayne, that's usually something we don't typically see until like the finals. And now I just kind of think they're just like, you know, really, 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 really like blowing it out of proportion. And I mean, I think it's great that they're giving them that platform to do that, unlike the NFL is, you know, did for them. But at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, now let's just play ball, man, and like, you know, they get the politics out of there, because, you know, people, it's going to be something. The moment someone stands, oh, that person, he didn't kneel with the rest of them. Why? Oh, he doesn't like Black lives. He doesn't think Black lives matter, even though 98% of the league is Black, you know, like Jonathan.
And it was way more religious for Jonathan than it was anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he just felt like the only person you should be kneeling for is before God. I'm not going to kneel before a flag or anybody else. And that's, I mean, you got to respect that. He wasn't had no ulterior motives or none of that. I'm glad he stood up for what he believes and go status quo.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
play. Oh wait, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Got it.
No, I was still on the anthem, man. I'm tripping.
No, I was just saying, you know, just going back to what I was saying, he just was doing what he felt was right, and you know, he was just using that was just a personal thing. And like you said, you have to start questioning the what's the word that I'm looking for? You have to start questioning the integrity of it after a while, because now, like Wayne, like you said, is everyone doing it just because all of my peers around me are doing it, or should if I don't do it, I'm gonna probably get, you know, thrashed in the media or on social media.
Is, bro, if you gonna get thrashed, you just gonna get thrashed. Like, that's the problem with this generation. Okay, not even this generation, because we are a part of this generation. Technically, when you look at, like, I don't know, this is X now, right? Or are we Z? Or we're X. And then
I think we're millennials.
Don't matter. I mean, well, it does matter, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
Respect. So, like, we're just gonna say this generation of kids or people in general have become so overly sensitive. It is ridiculous. Like, we can't even say stuff without being labeled like a racist or, you know, colorism and stuff like that. Now, colorism and stuff like that exists because it just is what it is. Like, y'all familiar with Willie Lynch? Okay, cool. So, like, basically, Willie Lynch letter in a nutshell is like, way back in the slavery time, was this dude that went around and would teach people how to keep their slaves encampment or whatever the word is, captive, being held captive. Like, and you have to enslave the mind of the slave to keep them the slave, make them compete with each other, make them hate each other for being one color's darker shade. That's colorism. That's a version of the Willie Lynch letter. It's a letter. Like, you can read it. It's online. It's in Virginia, like on a fucking monument. Like, it's there, like on the wall, because he went around the South doing this. They saying that it's like not real, but it's obviously very real when you have a monument and it's like on a plaster on a wall or on a statue or something like that. So, like, I just feel like if you're gonna get plastered though in the media, but if you lying on yourself, you lying to yourself because you want to make it sound good and you worried about what somebody else is gonna say about you. You don't even need to be in the position that you're in, because when you signed a contract saying, I want to be an NBA player, you knew it was more than basketball. Football, you knew it was more than football. Wrestling, you knew it was more than that, because you get so much exposure, you have so much influence. Even if you a sorry player, being on that screen and kids looking up to you and stuff, that's money. But at the other side of that, what you say is going to carry a lot of weight. Like, if you don't care, and then old dude getting drugged through the mud because he chose not to kneel. It was just ironic that he blew his knee out. But I just think that people should just be okay with the backlash that could potentially come from somebody that might not be what you want to hear. Like, I'm sorry, but how did you think it was for people that came before you? Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to have resistance in order to build muscle. Like, you know, it's got to be harder at some point. Otherwise, you just moving. You ain't doing nothing.
Right.
You're progressing. Like y'all was saying earlier in the beginning of the podcast, with no with not, without burning, like Wayne said, without burning your hand on that stove, you don't learn that it's hot until you touch it. I mean, you can feel the heat, but you're still going to be curious as to how hot it really is. Well, go on and touch it and find out. So that's that. My bad, got a little fired up, but I ain't sorry for it.
No, man. No, that's excellent, dude. That's why.
That's real talk.
Yeah, that's why I enjoyed the maturation of LeBron in front of our eyes, like, because coming in, him being 18, he was thrashed for everything that he did, and I think him being so young, he didn't know how to handle that and handle like all of these expectations, and then some flip when he went to Miami, when like between the time that they lost the championship from the Mavericks to when they prevailed, something flipped, and he just started getting to the point to where he stopped caring about what everyone what everyone said about him. He stopped speaking, like he stopped holding his tongue, and he started being more out there and active. And that's why it's so cool watching him be the person that he is now, because 10 years ago, we could easily say LeBron may have like folded mentally because it was so much weighing on him and so much expectations, him being the labeled the chosen one before he even, entered into the league, So how do you handle all that?
In fairness, he did that to himself. He didn't nobody tell him to get a tattoo across his back. He did that all by himself. And mature or not, soft-spoken or not, he had no business losing to the damn Mavericks. He had no reason to be losing to the Mavericks. No reason at all.
I'm still mad about that.
I was pissed about it too because it didn't make any sense. Like,
no.
But also, I know that I've been to Miami like 2 or 3 times, and I can understand why it would be hard for you to focus in a place like that, because it's not really, it's an entertainment city. It's been glorified through all different movies, like of course it's going away, like My Love Don't Cost a Thing. What's the one with Ice Cube, All About the Benjamins. That was shot in Miami. Bad Boys, parts of that was shot in Miami. It's based in Miami, I believe. So
Vice City, Vice City.
Yeah, Vice City, bro. Like, we can talk about, like that's based off Miami. So, and like the Floridian, all of that. But it's like you said, Jay, something flipped. I believe that he had to go to Miami to get out of his comfort zone, which was Cleveland, and he had to learn how to win a championship. Mm-hmm. It's a skill set. It ain't got nothing to do with, like, that's what pissed me off about the ownership of I can't think of nobody's name. Was that the Cavs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out his name so I could call him out.
Dan Gilbert.
The dude was, in my mind, it's my opinion, he was giving this slavery mentality, like I got one good slave and he gonna take me all the way. And then he made it seem like they was cool, but he would flip-flop. Like he was very emotional with his ownership. And he wasn't business professional. He was informal. And he would just be quick to respond, but never quick to listen. So what he said and wrote that letter guaranteeing a championship before he'll never come back, but then he comes back and, makes him eat his own words, and then he all hugging on him at the game and shit, which was crazy. I wasn't cool with that part.
Yeah.
But it's like, bro, you got one good guy. You didn't think about building a team around this dude all that time? Because, he was getting paid, but it's like, let's be real, bro. After you saw year 2 of them, they went where they went, but it's like you didn't think about putting some weapons around this dude to help him, play with people together. And so him going to Miami was it was like an incubation period, if anything. Because I knew it wasn't going to last forever. With things like that don't last forever.
No, they never do.
So
they never do.
Yeah, bro. It was just totally necessary for him to make that move that time. In my mind, I kind of wanted him to stay, and I did. And I wanted them to rebuild some stuff with him. But he didn't have time to wait on that because he knew that he was only going to be in this position for how long he was going to be in that position. Like Wayne said, you work at a place, you don't like the place, you realize that, well, I can either stay here and be unhappy, or I can make some decisions that might change the way I feel about what it is that I do. either that or it's time for me to walk away from the profession as a whole. Or go work somewhere else.
Real talk.
Facts. So since we still like we all off in sports, Wayne, anybody, do y'all think that sports will ever go back to having fans in the stands?
Yeah.
How soon do you think it's gonna happen?
Maybe 21, 22, 20, maybe late. I'm gonna say late 21. Just maybe late 20, 21, 22. Yeah. Okay. And actually, NFL, I don't know if y'all seen or heard about it, but they actually letting fans go. They actually letting fans attend the stadium. But like, if you choose to go, there's like some kind of waiver. So if you do get the Rona, you got to sign like a waiver, but letting know that's not responsible because you can like sue. And then I don't even think they're gonna do it. It's only gonna be limited seating. So say, for sake conversation, you want to go to a Cowboys game and the Cowboys can hold 50,000 people. They're only gonna let maybe like 25,000 in or 10,000. So it's not gonna be full either way. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's not even safe either. Like, I mean, it's not. That's why they haven't signed a waiver. So
yeah, right. So that way you can't sue.
For sure. So
and now I don't know how many people going for that, but it's.
Oh yeah, they out there because if people are still going to the club like we down here in Huntsville, bro, Club 47 and all these places on Snapchat, these Negroes is still in there.
Wait a minute, the club's open down there?
Oh yeah, right. But the bars. Here's the new rule. The new rule is that the bars last call is at 10:30 p.m. now. So like they
10:30.
Yeah, bro.
I ain't even got my clothes on yet at 10:30.
That's what I'm saying. I ain't even made it to the club, and they close. I think they have to close at 11 now.
So when they open,
right?
They getting off work, going straight to the club. That's what they
the club 4 o'clock in the evening. But the club.
And how you gonna get twerked on with a mask on? What part of social distance is that? You better as well take the mask off. I guess your head face the other way, so ain't nobody breathing on nobody. But how that? I don't know. That was all. Yeah.
Let me say the statement. What mask? Because half of these videos they in the club like it's just regular Tuesday, bro. I mean, or Friday night or whatever night people be going. I don't go no more for real, so I'm out. But
I didn't realize they was. I didn't know they was still. That's news to me.
Oh yeah, because you up north now, right?
Do what?
You up north now, right? Like
yeah.
Okay, cool. So
I didn't even know they was. Wow. I mean, hey.
Oh, so here's another question. Since we talking about football, do you think there will be football this fall?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll finish the season, but I think they're gonna try it.
Okay. Flip side of that question. What about college sports? Because I know it's complicated with college football, that's my domain. I can give a damn if the NFL happens or not because I think it's a washed product. And yeah, I could go. I wouldn't lose sleep if I never saw another NFL game. I mean, maybe the Super Bowl, but other than that, I can give a damn. But like as far as like college football, how do you think that's gonna play out? Because I've been watching, I watch ESPN usually throughout the day because I work at home and stuff, so it's usually in the background of like what I'm doing. And I'm already seeing like star players already opting out and stuff for the season and stuff. So what do you think about like college football happening or just collegiate sports in general?
College is tricky.
Yes.
I see NFL and all that going on, but college is tricky because see now you're talking about college campuses, so now you got to mix them with other students and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I heard through the grapevine, I guess they may do like an online class. I guess the players teams got their own little dorms, own little buildings. So I think maybe they'll put them off in their own little section of the world and they'll just do like an online class and don't go in classrooms. I think that's the best way. I think that's the only way you do it because I know they only playing like SEC's only playing in their conference. And so I think I think that's the best way to do it. Like I think
conference games is. Does that mean what does that look like for a playoff picture though? Right? I mean, is that a question to ask?
I think that's out. I think they just gonna do a playoff. I mean, you do your conference, so SEC champion, that'd be it. Big 10, Big 12, And I think that's going to be it. I don't think we're going to see a playoffs. Unless this whole thing clears up and they want to chance it, you just never know because, the NCAA is about their money. So you just never know. They may try it.
Yeah.
And you may be able to do a bubble thing like it with the playoff because it's only 4 teams in the playoff. Now you can't bubbleize the whole NCAA. You had to find a whole nother planet for the NCAA from play football.
I'm a producer of them needing to expand that playoffs to an 18 playoff, at least 18 to make it fair. 4 is cool. It was better than that BCS crap with the computer doing it for them.
Yeah. And
all of that. But it's I'll take 4. But I feel but if you make it 8, then that kind of gets into the money of it, like you said, with each bowl game and stuff like that. That would kind of cash them out. But my thing is, why not just make the bowl game be part of the playoff? Make it a double whammy or whatever.
I would just keep it at 4. I would. And I thought about the whole 8 thing, but then I'm looking at now the games don't mean as much. Because, because the college football season is so critical. Because you say you lose a game, man, we got a shot? Now you're looking at everybody else's. And so you put those 8, usually you only know with college football, it's only about 4 teams, maybe 5 that got a realistic shot anyway. Given season, usually an Alabama or Clemson or Ohio State. Ain't nobody really talking about nothing else. Maybe, they would talk about Michigan, but Michigan can't never get past Ohio State, so ain't nobody really talking about that. Yeah. But, usually it's only about a handful of teams anyway. So
what you mentioning, this triggered, this ain't even on the list. What do you think about all of these Black athletes now starting to tap into attending HBCUs instead of going to the powerhouse schools like your Floridas, your Alabamas, Mississippi States, all that kind of? What do you think about that? Do you think that's good for the league, good for HBCUs? Do you think that's good for the players that have that kind of exposure? And do you think it's good just in general for a change of spherical walk of sports? Football, basketball, whatever.
That's great for HBCUs. That's great because I don't know how it's going per se in college, but far as basketball, if you good, they gonna put you on TV. They not going. Wasn't nobody tuning in to see Duke. They was tuning. Sure the alumni, sure, but they was tuning in to see Zion. You know what I mean? Right. You tuning in for Anthony Davis to see Kentucky, you you zooming in so now all these players going to HBCU. I love it. I'm all for it. That's gonna do. That's gonna put more notoriety into the Howards, the A&Ms, the TSUs. That's gonna put more money in their pocket and more revenue. And it's wait a minute, these schools need us. They need us because if all the good players not going to these big Power 5 schools, and I'm a Tar Heel guy, so of course, I'd like to see them, but I can go. I want to see the HBUs eat a little bit too. Hey, that'd be cool. I love it.
That's who was eating prior to before segregation. Desegregation happened. So I'm for it too. I like to see that. I think it's going to work more so better with basketball than football because basketball, sure. Basketball you want it done. So the superstars are going to enter the league after 1 year anyway. Football, I'm a little skeptical on because you there for 3 years at least, minimal. That's the cutoff. That's not including the red shirt years and nothing like that. So. Football players are very impatient. They have the knack to be very impatient. If shit ain't going the way that they feel, they're going to enter that transfer portal like they are now at big time universities. So you have these players that's been catered and, because, football recruiting is much more difficult than basketball recruiting because you have to sell these kids on these facilities and all the stuff that the glamour and all of this stuff that comes with it. When you go into an HBCU, you might not get that super red carpet that you're gonna get at a Kentucky or at a Duke or or any place like that. So I do love it. I just don't know how well it's gonna work for football because I just don't see it right now. A player, not saying that they won't be a player, I just don't see a player committing themselves being at a university, at that stature for at least 3 years, and as far as football goes.
See, but I feel like that challenges, if anything, that challenges the HBCUs to step up their game on how well they present for players to come to their universities. Like, I mean, Jay, you and I both attended we attended Alabama A&M University, and the thing is, I think they do the best they can. They got one of the, they're voted one of the most beautiful campuses. I mean, but most beautiful campus, but also one of the dopest stadiums in all of SWAC. That's true. I mean, it's fire. It's nice, but it's like the play kind of don't match that for real. But it's like, I don't know what's going on with the recruiting as far as like, where are you looking? And then it's like, if people aren't looking at you, so what? Like, why are you going to let that? Why are you not even going to try to go get a Derrick Henry or something like that? Like, why would you not try? It's like, well, Alabama wants him already. It's like, but with an attitude like that is the reason why the program is the way it is. And again, what's that?
No, go ahead, bro. I was about to say, I got an answer to that. Go ahead.
Not ready for the answer. Forget what I'm talking about.
Oh. Well, so when you go to an HBCU football game, what are you going to go see?
Band.
That's it. The
It's
band
it.
and the tailgate.
How many?
Tailgate, yep.
You go to homecoming. How often are you there to say, okay, I'm going to go watch the homecoming football game? How honestly are you there when you say, I'm going to go watch the classic, Alabama State versus Alabama A&M? I want to go watch them on the gridiron. You're not there. You're there to watch the Battle of the Bands. That's just what it is. Like,
I'm there for the wings. That's what I'm there for. I'm there for the wings.
Yeah.
Dude.
Shit. And the women be out there too, So
yeah.
It's just that's the shift of thinking, because even up here, with me living in Nashville now, Tennessee State is their version of Alabama A&M to me. So they rarely ever talk about their football team. They're talking about the band. Man, you see the band play. So it's as long as the focus and the interest of HBCU football is going to be the band, we won't see a change for football, because all of the resources are being dumped into like putting a good band out there product, and they and that's cool, because that's something we should be proudful for as HBCUs. But at the same time, you putting all of that into the band. You got this football team that's just out there just trying to run itself, and it also depends on the coaching too, because football is very hard to go in and win. It's not like basketball where you can have a bad season and then you get that one good player and you winning the championship the next year. Football,
you need a lot to happen for football to come up.
Exactly.
Basketball, one guy can change your whole team around, but you can't do that with football. I mean, you can have Barry Sanders on your football team, but if you ain't got a quarterback or a line or a defense, you just got a home run hitter. I mean, Saquon Barkley, one of the best players on the Giants, but they won 2-3 games last year because the team trash.
Team trash.
In the whole league is fast. Like, you think you fast in college and high school, well, yeah, you that guy. But when you get to the league, everybody is fast. Everybody is like linebackers and linemen be fast. It's weird. It's just like, why are you fast? But I mean, they train.
But as far as the football, I mean, the power, I mean, then you get in, because it's deeper with football, because now you're looking at your alumni. The amount of alumni, say, Alabama will be able to put out compared to an HBCU, it's going to be a higher quality alumni. So now they putting all this money into the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Michigans, Michigan States, and now you're looking at the programs of the Oregons. I mean, I think they the alumni from Oregon, I think he own Nike or co-own Nike. That's why they got all them jerseys. He's like a billionaire. So
Bill Knight. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you got a billionaire backing you. I mean, you're gonna be able to put something real nice together compared to like a Howard. I mean, it ain't nothing wrong with Howard.
It's not even a fair comparison, unfortunately.
You see what I'm saying? And so like if I'm a running back, like say I'm a superstar football player, and I'm looking at A&M compared to Oregon. Truth be told, I'm probably going. I'm finna be a Duck.
Yep.
I'm sorry. They got cool jerseys. They weight rooms is fine.
Oh.
I mean, and it's no knock against the A&M or anything like that, but facility matters. And as Oregon, so I'm gonna be on TV too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They'll follow the program more than they will. They follow programs in football. They follow the players in basketball. It's totally different.
Respect.
And so because I want to be on TV.
That's a dope statement.
I mean, every now and then you'll get like a John Stallworth or Shannon Sharp or Jerry Rice. They get in every now and then, but by and large, those are few and far in between.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Rice out there chasing horses to get fast. That's how he got to the league. And catching
in
the summertime, working with his dad. That's the backstory for a lot of people that don't know.
And I think still to this day the highest drafted HBCU player was, I think, Steve McNair. Still to this day from Alcorn. I think he went number 3.
To me,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was even some people saying like it was some people even making the case that he should have been a number 1 pick. Because people were seeing what he was doing in the workouts. Now I can't remember who was his draft class because that's a little bit way before my time. I don't know if that happened in the 80s and whatnot. So I couldn't even tell you who was the number 1 pick. But like people that were scouting him was like, man, this dude is the real deal. Like we might draft him number 1. But of course, then people, especially being a black quarterback, a lot of people question our intellectuals to even. Yeah. And that just wasn't the thing.
Like Cole Peppers, you had him, you had I forgot old dude name, one of the first versions. Well, you had Michael Vick.
Doug Moon, what was it? Warren Moon. Warren Moon? Was it? Warren Moon.
Yeah, right. He was
Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham.
That's who I was about to say in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
You can't forget about the first black quarterback, Doug Williams, with the Redskins.
Doug Williams.
I don't know if we're allowed to say Redskins. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that anymore. The football team.
The Washington football team.
You good.
Yeah.
This is a show where it's uncensored, so you can say whatever you need to say here, bro. I'm just working on my cussing and stuff like that. I try. But whenever I'm expressing like emotion and stuff like that, it's gonna come out how it is, bro. So,
yeah.
So what since we still talking football and we'll get close to a wrap, I know we've been on for a minute. But it's good. It's good stuff to me. What are your thoughts on The Rock being a part owner of the XFL?
Did y'all watch the XFL this past year?
I did.
I caught a couple of games. I didn't watch because I didn't want to invest in it.
Because I was just glad it was some type of live sports on television. I was even watching the AAF.
That little after football, that arena, that little I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they had like the Birmingham. We had the Birmingham Ironman or something like that.
Yeah, American Alliance.
I couldn't get into it. I tried. I sit there. I be sitting there watching the game. The next thing
Don't get me wrong. I feel you, but they actually had a pretty good product put together. Like they had a good film crew. They had nice documentaries about each player and shit like that. Now, it did look like the NFL, like a watered-down version, but...
Watered down.
You're not...
24-pack watered down.
But you're not supposed to compare the two. Like, they their own thing. It's supposed to be there to tide you over until the NFL come back around. But because it was too much alike, they weren't having that shit.
Yeah,
I just saw a bunch of people that I seen bad passes, error throws, a bunch of ex-coaches, a bunch of people that wanted to make it and didn't make it. So as far as the thing, the owner, I don't care if Vince McMahon owned it, The Rock, Steve Madden, John Madden, me, you, Jay, the neighbor, whoever owned it, they still getting people that ain't cutting it in the NFL. They still gonna get there. They still get second-rate talent, B- people that got fired and can't find themselves in the league no more. It's still gonna be just below level. So me, I couldn't get without, and I try to give it a chance. I don't hate on nobody.
Oh yeah, it is what it is. So speaking of like additional leagues, what did you think about the Big Three with basketball?
Big Three's different. Big Three's different. And I'm here for the Big Three. I like Big Three.
We went.
Big Three's good.
They came. It was fire. It was fire, bro.
You know what I mean? Because they had people that had been there and done that. And they started getting some Drew League people in there after a while. So that's totally different.
Okay. Well, so we getting close to the wrap, to the end, man. We got this part. We got a section of this show called This or That, and you are the first person we're gonna do this or that with, man. You ready for it?
I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
I told you there's gonna be some stuff you wasn't expecting, and this is it. Because I ain't.
All right. I'm here for it. I like that I don't know, so it's cool.
Oh yeah. You probably heard. You probably asked the question before, but it's all good. All right, you ready for it?
I'm here. Yeah.
Chicken or fish?
Chicken or fish?
Yep.
Chicken. Wait, what kind of fish?
Both can be fried. Fried chicken, fried fish.
Oh.
See, just changed it.
Yeah, let me get the fish.
Why you want the fish?
Man, I ain't nothing like a good fried fish. And plus, you know what I mean, all chicken ain't created equal. Like, a leg and a thigh tastes different from a breast and a wing. But I get to, what I mean, if I get that fried fish, I get that hot sauce on there, ooh, I got to have that fried fish. I need that heat, and I want it hot. I don't care if I got to bite and breathe at the same time. I need it hot, fresh out the grease. I need to practice all that. That flavor I got to have. I'll give me fried fish.
Okay. So you said fish. All right, that's cool. PS4 or Xbox?
PS4. PS4. I got a PS4 right now.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you.
Yes.
So why PS4?
One, Red Ring of Death. Two, the Xbox, they tend to play. I'm a 2K guy, so it seems like things run a little slower on there. Okay. And then I don't have an Xbox One, but so 360 kind of turned me off. And four, PlayStation just seems like just a better experience. I just have more fun playing. And then you want to talk about the small minutiae of it. The Xbox needing batteries. There ain't no battery problems over there in PlayStation world, out there in Sony world. Yeah. So I like the look. I like the feel, how the controller feel in my hand. I just get an overall better experience. And I like the titles a little more. I like the exclusive titles with PlayStation that come with, like, your God of Wars. You had Infamous there for a little while.
That's true.
Jay, what about you? PS4 or Xbox?
PS4, bro. PS4 me, bro. I mean, I had an Xbox. I'm not gonna lie, I had an Xbox before. I had the first Xbox, and then I had a 360. And I always found my way back to Sony because that's what I grew up on. I know you have to play for online play now, but I just thought it was super dope at one point in time that Sony's online play was free, and then you had to pay that bullshit for Xbox. I thought that was trash, but now, of course, the world has changed and you have to pay for it. I don't do much online anyway because there's too many trolls on there and all of that stuff, but PS4 all day, bro.
Okay.
How about you?
Me, PS4 or Xbox? PS4. Because I was...
so we all together. We all on the good side. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we all in it together.
I had a PS4. I mean, I had PlayStation. I was one of those kids that I was fortunate, but I got it late. So I had PlayStation, PS1, and the N64 at the same time. So before there was an Xbox, there was N64 for the kids out there that may have stumbled upon this podcast and are watching it. And I mean, Nintendo has always been really creative. They would try things that people wouldn't, and they tried to find more ways to show multiple people to play together. And it used to be in person before this online thing came in. So I like PS4 because they kind of continued that. they battle with Nintendo, but Nintendo bringing them into it, they kind of like know their lane and they run it well.
Mm-hmm.
So they stay out of everybody's pockets. They make the same games, kind of sort of, but they make more family.
Your Mario Kart, your Mario Party, stuff like that.
Party games. They make games people can play when they drunk and shit like that. They gonna be in business forever.
And it's almost entirely possible to buy a damn Nintendo Switch these days. Like you cannot find one anywhere. Anywhere.
Mario Vincent.
Right.
My favorite car. Can't get it. Go ahead.
How about this as a this or that? We mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, go
Vice City or San Andreas?
Oh! Okay. Is it for me or is it for Wayne? Who's it for?
Either or.
Wayne,
either or.
Because you special.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I never owned either one, so I don't know.
Oh man. Oh man.
Right. Show over with. We cutting it off, bro. We cutting.
Oh man.
When I had a PS2, I was playing NFL. I had a 64 at the time. I was playing Star Fox. So I was outside shooting balls.
Star Fox. Okay, the show back on. You said something that was very important. Star Fox is a whole nother, bruh.
Yeah.
And you play Star Fox too, bruh?
Dog, I was out there saving Slippy every day too, dog.
Yes.
I was out there doing barrels and saving Slippy.
That game was so ahead of its time. Like,
yeah,
man, when they made that, they made some shit, man. I
don't even think they realized what they was making, to be honest.
No, I think they kind of just like was just hitting it, and then they started put this like they were just doing it. Like I don't know, but I'm in a few. So side note, I'm in a few retro gamer groups on Facebook. They got one that's like PS2 ain't dead, PS2 or die. I think N64 for life or something like, different games like that. And so they have people that are just posting, playing the games, like, showing the screen or whatever. And Star Fox was a discussion a couple of days ago. Everybody was talking about Star Fox. And so it's probably like 30, at least 15 to 20,000 of us in this group, I guess. And like, you just see different screens of the levels that people are playing and the different things you can do with the game. They got emulators and stuff like that too. Those are the people I can't keep up with when you get into emulations. I don't know. I don't understand it. But it looks cool. I just don't understand how it works. But there's that. But PS4 for me. Just like the way Sony does stuff. All right, so this is up, and if you got more of them, Jay, throw them out there. Wayne, you got some, throw them out there too, bro. I'm with it. It's whatever. NFL or NBA? NBA.
Hell, I choose that. I choose the damn XFL over the NFL shit at this point.
We almost agree that we love b-ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
High school football or NFL?
Say what?
High school football or NFL? I'm just trying to figure out how low on the total poll NFL is.
High school football.
Because in high school, them boys is really getting after it. Like, they love the game. So I can respect seeing people actually that doing things that they love to do it, instead of it just being like it's clearly for money, or they're worried about their stock, or they're worried about their jersey. It's too many things, too many variables, and too many factors in the NFL. Now, do I watch it when it's on television? Yes, because it's entertaining. It's more like a television show for me. It's like live action. It's like wrestling used to be. So now wrestling is it's Corona wrestling basically, but that's all they can do. So it is what it is. But yeah, definitely high school football over the NFL for me. Go ahead.
I got one. Shawn Michaels or Triple H?
Triple H.
What you got, Wayne?
Triple H.
Why?
Number one, because wrestler-wise, Triple H. Shawn is just pretty much a showman. He an entertainer, so if he gonna feel it, he gonna do a sweet chin music elbow. He gonna do that little turnbuckle flip like he always do. You know what I mean? So he's the king of selling it. But far as I'm looking at a wrestling, I feel like you can put Triple H against anybody and it's going to be great. And it's going to be like realistic. Sean, you can kind of do that too because he's a showman. But I feel like I'm getting way more technique with Hunter than I am Sean.
Okay, that. And he has more longevity with a lot of connections. I think Paul wrestled in the WCW as well at one point in time.
Yeah.
It was like short-lived. And it was before like the Monday Night Wars and all that. That's a great documentary, by the way. Yeah. LeBron or KD?
Right now or all time?
All time.
Oh, Bron.
What about you, Jay?
Bron, you know I love my KD, man, but I have to say Bron. I can't disrespect or slander him. So Bron.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go with Bron too. I mean, obviously, I never really was that big of a KD fan. I didn't get it even when he was at Texas. I was like, he good, but I just can't tap into him for some reason. I was like, all right, another guy. But yeah, I knew that once he got to the league, he was gonna wreak havoc. I was like, he's one of those guys that's gonna bring it when he comes. Because a lot of the people you can tell in college that they are flair or flash players that aren't gonna make a difference. Like they'll give you some, like kind of like Gerald Green, like he was a super dunker. He dunked on everybody's team. But it's like I used to argue with people in the basketball groups all the time. I was like, dunk only count for 2 points, right? And they would get so mad at that. And they'd be like, man, fuck you. That's why you don't understand what basketball is. I was like, well, I mean, basketball is more than dunking.
Yeah.
Team sport. But that's neither here nor there. And then like Blake Griffin too. Like just dunked, like went crazy. But I'm like, the knees changing up now. So yeah. Okay, this one was for you, Wayne. Throwback jerseys or graphic tees?
Throwback jerseys.
Why is that?
I'm a jersey guy. I just like how the jersey look. I just like, repping that team or that player. And whereas a tee, graphic tees is cool. You throw you a retro X-Men or a Ric Flair shirt or Golden Girls, or maybe I'm just talking about my closet now. But there's something about that jersey, just how I look and how I feel when you put one on.
That one you got on is fly, bro. I like that.
Yeah, and this is just a Knicks jersey. This is just.
I know it's hard.
Yeah, my girl actually got me this. She showed me some love.
Shout out to Bay.
Yeah, she's really good.
I would probably have to go with graphic tees just for the simple fact that I didn't grow up having jerseys. I've only had like one jersey in my entire life, and that was when I was 8 years old. I was very into Chris Webber when he was on the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors version of Chris Webber when he was number 4. I was a big fan of Chris Webber at that time, and there's a picture of me with a Golden State Warriors jersey on, and that's the only jersey I've ever had. I've had a Florida Gator jersey, but it wasn't, of course, it's a college jersey, so it wasn't really tied to any player specifically, but I probably just have to go with graphic tees just because I own more graphic tees than I ever had jerseys, so.
Okay. Day or night?
Day.
Why?
Because that's when you really get everything. Well, I guess it depends on. I feel like that's where you can really get some production going. Something about waking up in the morning, seeing the sunlight hit you. You just kind of feel like you can just, it motivates you. Like I'm a morning guy. Morning's actually my favorite time of day, actually, just in general. Okay. But I feel like, that's where your production's going. You see the sun, that make you want to get out there and do something. So you can go out there and grill or barbecue. Well, you can do that any time of day. But you can really do more, and it's just you can out there enjoy nature more. Just the look, how it sets, just how it sets the mood or the picture or the nature.
Okay. What about you, Jay?
Man, I would have to say night. I don't know. I mean, I can do both. I mean, it just depends on what's going on in my life at a particular time. But I've been gravitating more towards night because it's kind of where I'm more freer. You know, I'm off work at that point. I'm able to like do, you know, free time, whatever, do this, you know, record a pod. Yeah, and that's when I'm able to spend the most time with my family. It's usually you know, at nighttime during the week. Now weekends it could be either or, but yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
For me, I gotta say the night. I mean, it's tough. It's a toss up for me because I get so much done in the daytime. Like Wayne's saying, like it's a productive thing. But I think I would go with night just because I have a newfound understanding and respect for rest. That's the best time I usually wind down and stretch out. Like I try to stretch every night and every morning to build my flexibility and overall mobility. So I'll go with night. So last couple ones. These are some fighting related ones, so I think y'all gonna like this. UFC or WWE?
I'm a WWE guy.
Yeah, WWE me, bro. I mean, I can't sit there and lie and say I watch UFC. I don't even think I've ever actually watched a live fight of UFC before because it's just never been my bag. You know, no disrespect to UFC, but I've just always been WWE.
I've gotten more into UFC lately just because it's like one of those quarantine things where I just developed a liking for it, and backyard fighting is coming back around as well. The Rock or Stone Cold?
Stone Cold.
I'm going with
The
Stone
Rock.
Cold, dude. Yes, that's his favorite wrestler, Wayne. That's why I had to bring that one.
The Rock, man. I love Stone Cold, man. The Rock, you couldn't tell me, man, in 2001, man, he really yeah. I mean, it's between both of them, but definitely I would have to be the edge to the Rock. Not more so Dwayne Johnson, but The Rock. Yeah.
Okay. WCW or ECW?
WCW.
You said that quick. Why WCW over ECW?
One, because I've never really watched ECW, and two, when I've seen it, look like they sitting there, you know, fighting the little halls like Union Chapel or some bingo hall or something like that. I just
you fight
they fight like you've seen them little
yeah.
I just couldn't get it.
It's a church match.
Setting people on fire and barbed wire, it's trifling. Ain't nobody trying to see that.
Yeah, I'm at WCW me, bro. ECW, I didn't watch it consistently enough to really like have a passion for it and invest. I saw it a couple of times, but it's just them damn matches was just outrageous and shit. You fucking do a pile driver and the damn fireworks go off or some shit in the ring. I don't know. It used to just be like a little bit over the top for me, but WCW.
Yeah, just like a bunch of misfits in there throwing nails at each other and everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, do I want to see Sting come down and mess up the NWO, or do I want to see some wild man spray somebody with a fire extinguisher
or something like that?
Huh?
Yeah,
I said Tommy Dreamer versus RVD or something like that, because those were like two top tier stars in ECW.
Yeah, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, Taz, probably the only thing worth a damn out there, really.
Now, one thing that was cool about wrestling was the merger of 2001, where Vince had acquired WCW from Turner and all that. That was interesting. I like the whole alliance. The whole alliance storyboard thing, that was a good 2.5 years of that. But I knew that it wasn't gonna last forever because it was just probably too much to manage. And I like how many titles they had available for people to win. Like, it was damn near like a pay-per-view every night. Because you had like DDP versus Booker T versus The Rock. Like, that was just like a dream. I was just like, wow, I ain't never thought I would see this happen. But they said a lot of the guys had a hard time adjusting to stuff like the ring and all types of stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
The behind the scenes stuff. All right, last one. Florida or California? Oh wait, that's not the last one. I got one more after that.
I'm gonna say Cali.
Cali, okay. Jay, what about you? I know it's tough.
I've been to California twice. Los Angeles both times.
Okay.
I loved it, but I'm gonna have to flip that edge to Florida, bro. I just have more time. I've been there more. I've done more things there. I mean, no disrespect. I would love to go back to Cali right about now because I haven't been in a few years, but I probably would have to just choose Florida because that's the one out of both states. That's the only state that I could see myself living in if I had to choose between the two because California is just too damn expensive. So yeah, not saying Florida is cheap either, but yeah.
Yeah, they kind of in the same range as far as immigration. I'm gonna go with California just because I feel like there's more for me to explore. I love Florida and I love how easily accessible it is. It's like a 9 or 10 hour drive. That's nothing. But I like California because when I did go to LA, there were a lot of different parts of it that I, wanted to discover. And I wanted to visit more of Northern California to get a feel of what that's like. Mountainous and hiking and stuff like that. I'm an outdoorsy guy and I like working out and stuff, so I'm with it.
A lot of vineyards there.
Yes, that part too. I'm a wine up for sure. I love wine. So last one, we're gonna get out of here, y'all. So music or movies?
Music.
Movies.
What
are y'all's reasonings for that?
Music, depending on the song and the time, it'll just take your ass somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll just take you somewhere and it'll keep you there, or it'll take you in a place you want to be. It'll take you like I remember the first time I heard that song, man. I was sitting there riding down the road, man. I remember listening to this song growing up, singing on the school bus. I remember singing that song, or it just make you just, you know what I mean, like with just me. I'm a talk about myself, cause like so I got a lady in my life these days, and
respect.
She'll have me, and she don't even be here. She don't even know about this. Well, I guess she finna find out. Anyway, I just be singing in the mirror. You know what I mean? I'm not like, I'm thinking about my girl. Let me go on and cut a movie on. I'm like, no, let me go on and cut this song. Let me sing something. Let me, if I'm cleaning up or I'm cooking, grilling, barbecuing, whatever I want to do, I'm cutting that music on. Put that good foot forward. Turn on some music. You know what I mean? Music just makes you move. Sometimes you ever cut the radio on, you just start hollering, all of a sudden song just grab your ass and won't let you go. You know what I'm talking about? Music just, I feel it just won't let me go, and it take you somewhere and it ain't gonna let you go till it's finished. Whereas a movie, you know what I mean? Depending on the time of day, I might not make it to the movie. I might watch a movie at night, and next thing I know, open my eyes, you still there? You know what I mean? I might watch a movie, and it might be cool, somebody talking. Next thing I know, everything blowing up. I done missed the whole gap. I can go to sleep during the movie. Now, there's some great movies out there. I'm not knocking it. They're great. But I'm not going on that mental, some movies you are going on an emotional journey. Some movies you're absolutely doing that. But music just takes me somewhere mentally that I just really enjoy being.
Total. Jay, what about you? You chose movies.
Yeah, cinema has always been something that's like close to me. Like it's killing me right now during this pandemic. Like one of the most favorite things for me to do is to go to the damn movies because I can go to the movies by myself, and watch a movie. Of course, I would love to have my wife with me majority of the time, but like if it's something I really want to see, I could just go roll up in there and just watch it myself. So that's one of my favorite things to do in the world, and I can't even do it, and I don't know if I ever will in the near future because of what's going on and in the states of what's going on with the movie industry right now. But I don't know. Music. I love music, but I'm not in tune with music as I once was because today's music I just can't. It's I listen to a couple of artists that's out there right now, but I just can't resonate with today's music. So, like, fun fact, I'm talking about myself. I rarely ever listen to music now. If I am listening to music, it's more so like something that's in the mid 2000s or something like that. Right. I'm more of a podcast guy now, so I listen to a lot of podcasts more so than music now. So I just can't. And another thing is to movies. I can broaden my horizons. There's so many genres that suits me. I love the horror. I love comedy, action, adventure. Music, I'm kind of like in this one bubble because I don't like much music out there. Of course, the hip hop and rap and whatnot, but when you start talking about country, when you start talking about like all these other genres of music that I can't really like relate to or vibe with, I'm not inclined. And then movies, it just hits different from me, especially watching something I watched as a kid and now watching it in my 30s. The shit hit different now for me. So, and I don't know. That's just how I am. But now if I feel like, listening and nodding my head and stuff, I will blast some Lil Baby in here. But other than that, man, I'm a movie guy. Always will be.
Respect. With me, I'm gonna go with movies just because I'm gonna mix it, but I'm gonna go with movies just because, like you said, different genres. But the toss up for me is a movie with a great soundtrack or a great score. So it's kind of like both, but
so like a Disney movie. Like Aladdin or Hercules.
I mean, but they got or we could take it further than that. Like, or some musicals. Like my wife actually got me back into. I ain't really like musicals, but Hamilton is off the chain to me. Like, I'm like, wow, this is like a great produced piece of media, but it's like both. It's like music and film. And they shot it well, and it was just like, I didn't think it was going to be that. I wasn't even giving it a chance, and the whole world was doing this for like 4 years, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. And I would just.
Did you see that Cats? I heard it sucked.
Can't sing Cats. I ain't got that far. Far advanced. I'm not that far.
No, I heard it was awful. The remake.
Yeah.
I heard it was.
No. I heard it was terrible. I heard it was one of the worst made movies.
I think I saw part of the original, like in elementary school, they made us watch it or something like that. But it was one of them things where I was just not there. Like, like I can't even really remember a lot of parts of elementary school, but Cats was something that came up because it was. Did they have a book too?
I don't know. By elementary school, it's kind of a blur. I remember, getting pushed off a slide, getting attacked by walls. Okay. And then conjunction junction. What's your function? That's about.
Okay.
Shit.
That's about.
Shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much a snapshot of my elementary school. Like I said, that's.
Well, all right, guys, man. Well, this is since we have exceeded the hour portion of the show, this is now classified as a megasode. So, Wayne, we want to thank you for coming to the Living Water Chronicles podcast for the megasode. Technically, it's episode 4, but you never know, it might drop whenever. There's that. So, I'm your host, T. It's my boy, Jay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks again for having me on. I sure appreciate this. This has been a good time.
Yo,
yeah, man, we gotta have you back, man. This has been dope. This has been fun. We really appreciate you coming, bro.
Yeah, matter of fact, we'll just go ahead and set it forward. You will see Wayne Diesel back on the show again. So
yeah,
I don't know when. It depends on his busy schedule because he is a millionaire, and we are mongrel race people that do not have money like he has because he is rich. This guy right here next to me. I hope he rich and we not.
y'all need to stop. Y'all doing too much.
All right, guys.
And we will not be comparing the Milwaukee Bucks to the Spurs the next time. And we are not gonna do that. That's what's not gonna happen.
I think I know the title of this episode, Wayne. You just inspired me, bro.
What is it?
The new Spurs. New Spurs.
Man.
Man.
That's been the megasode, you guys. Peace. Y'all have a good night.
All right, later, y'all. Enjoy.